Okay, we're going to open this project. It's going to be called integer math shorthand. Okay, so let's just read it one more time. The way this works, I'm going slow. I had trouble picking this up when I first was learning, so I'm trying to make some of these words make sense for anybody watching. So we're going to, again, the green is comments, my comments. Just put this little apostrophe. So declare a variable, that's the first thing you do. So this means we're declaring a variable, but I'll read it. I'll read it as Microsoft keywords, and then I'll read it as layman terms. This is dim, short for dimension, a number, a word that I picked, a variable word that I picked as integer. Okay, what the heck's that mean? In layman's term, remember this variable that I'm naming as a data type called integer. Integer means, well, you can see what it says there, but that doesn't help much. It means that it won't do decimals. Remember this variable name as a data type that won't do decimals. Okay, so now it remembered that. Now we're taking what it remembered and we're taking the variable type, which is a name. It could be anything, but we named it that because that's will help us remember. And we're adding a value. So equal is adding a value. So now this equals 16. Now we're going down and we're saying integer number equals integer number plus 8. So this really represents 16 because we're changing it. That's the longhand. Now we're going shorthand again. Since this is a block of code that's going to end once we run, so it's going to forget. It'll remember this, but it won't remember what we did here. So this is a new block of code. Again, we're taking the variable, we're putting something in it. It's going to be 16. The way I read this is this variable is now 16 plus a new value of 8, 24. It's the same thing. You know, if anybody's watching this, maybe you can explain that to me better, but that's how I read it. 16 plus a new value of 8. Up here, basically, this is input and output. So we're doing input here, but it's going to output onto the message box. And we have 3 parameters. We have a literal string, which means the computer is going to read between these quotes literally whatever we wrote. It's not going to try to figure anything out. It's just saying, oh, that's what it is. But then the and is telling it a different. It's saying this is not going to be a literal string. This is another operator. This is going to say n 16. No, n 24. That's what it's going to say because the new value is 24 to a string. You can read what it says. Convert the numeric value of this instance to its equivalent string representation. It'll add the numbers together. Because, well, I'm not even quite sure about that, to be honest with you. Because this is 16. So it's turning into a string. I think it's just taking this and putting it into a chain of events. So it's taking this parameter and this parameter and this parameter into a long chain. So when we run it, it should be in a chain, except this comma is going to move it up to the text box above. So I think we went over that as much as I can explain it for now. And then close. If you don't have this close here, which I said maybe in the last 2 or 3 videos, it won't close. You'll have to close it yourself. This will close automatically after we run this block of code and this block of code. So let's try it. Okay, what this is that it ran this. This is the form and the button. And it's handled by a button click. So right click the button. There's the first longhand method. There's the shorthand method. It works, and I notice the form closed. If I didn't have that there, that form would stay open. Now let's create an error, so you can see what an error is, or how to try to use the built-in IntelliSense. Let's see what it says. So you notice there's that little squiggly line there. It says syntax error. It means that me as a computer cannot read this. This is going to try to give us a hint, error correction option, insert the missing. That's wrong. Let's see if it shows that. There it is. If we were to do that, that would be the end of the input output, and this would not run. It's guessing. But let's run it. See what happens. There were build errors. Would you like to continue and run the last successful build? Let's just say yes. We'll click both buttons. Okay, it's running. Let's see if it gets stuck. Nope, it didn't get stuck, but it ran the last build. It's really looking at the last block of code we had. So we'll click OK. It's still working, but the error is still there. So that's a hint. Let's say you had a bunch of errors. You could go back and see where you made a mistake. You could have a bunch of mistakes. This could help you. But in this case, we know what it is because we're only looking at one error. We're just going to put it back in. It's good. Oh, I think I wanted to show you one more thing. Let's do this one more time. Delete. Run. No. I don't know if I went over this or not, but here's showing 2 possible errors in this form. Again, we could have more than one form, but we don't. We have one form, form 1. It's somewhere between it's either on line 10 or line 11 or in between this area. This is the name of the program. So anyway, we know what it is. We're going to change it. It's good. Now, here's a third thing I just thought of. You see that little star right there? That means this program has not been saved. If I was to close this, it would probably catch it and it would probably say, do you want to save it? But if you click save, the stars are gone. It's all saved. I'm going to close it. If I close this, it closes the whole program. If I close this, it closed the program and it's ready to do a new project. It's saved. So to double check that, this is where it shows the files. There's nothing running. So we are safe to start a new program. The next video will be on let's see here, floating point math. So we're gonna change from, we're gonna get rid of that as integer, and we're gonna give it a new data type so that we can show decimals. That's it.